Now is the chance to use reliable energy to grow your money with the Dominion Energy Reliability Investment. Our new investment product offers competitive returns, no maintenance fees, and flexible online access to your money. Make the reliable investment in reliable energy. The Dominion Energy Reliability Investment. To find out more, go online to reliabilityinvestment.com. That's reliabilityinvestment.com.
Holidays are here, and so is fashionable fitness. Gift yourself a Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3 5G, a phone that folds in half to literally stand on its own. Pair it with the Galaxy Watch 4 for ultimate wellness and wow factor. Check health stats, flex personal records. Over 90 activities can be tracked, like biking, swimming, golfing, and more. Invest in yourself with tech made to crush goals. Holidays open up with Galaxy. Shop it all at Samsung.com. 5G connection and availability may vary. Check with carrier. Products sold separately.
Hey everyone, this is the Almost World Podcast. Bringing to you mind-blowing interviews with guests from all over the world. So settle down, relax, and enjoy the show. Oh yeah, by the way, if you like the podcast, please support Elmo's World Podcast on Patreon. Your support is what helps the podcast improve more and more. 3. Okay, welcome to Elmo's World Podcast. This is Elmo Ador Jr., your host, and we have Eddy Foreman. He is 28 years old. He is from Washington, D.C. He studies sociology and IT. And I would love to talk to him about philosophy, politics, and a lot of stuff that I think Eddy could give his precious insight, right? So Eddy, please introduce yourself and then answer this question. What do you think is the meaning of life?
Well, thanks, Elmo. My name is Eddy Foreman, Washington, D.C. 28 years old. Study IT and sociology, and my question for the purpose of life is life has no purpose. It's good to go out and reach out and find your life's purpose, because the only person that can find your life purpose is you. No, I don't. Actually, I'm atheist, but I love to study other religions so I could live. So my interpretation of religion is, I don't think religion is supposed to be its separate being. Like, I don't think it's supposed to be Muslim. It's not supposed to be Catholic or Buddhism. I think it's supposed to be more equal, you know? I mean, religion to me is just labels. And what are labels? Labels are just words. Like, between you and me, we're human. We eat, we feel sad, we need energy, we need sympathy, we need empathy. And when someone does violence to us, we feel angry. So basically speaking, I don't think religion is all important. I just think that the most important thing is helping out your fellow man. It's like what I'm doing with my friend Elmo over here. Well, what stirred me away from religious interpretations is I was enrolled in a Catholic school. It was very strict, and we had to say the Hail Marys, the Bible, we had to study the 10 Commandments, the 7 deadly sins, and stuff like that. It was like a huge bubble that I wanted to break out of. It's like every time I have questions when I was little, my grandmother usually tell me God did it. I'm like, why is my friend right? God wanted to be. Why I woke up late? God wanted to be. Why is it raining outside? Because of God. And I was all like, I couldn't settle for that one answer. I wanted to have grounded evidence and grounded information. So that's why I broke out of that religion. But what caused me to think that is because I was interested in Buddhism, and after that, when I was reading some of the information for Buddhism, it actually kind of resonate the same religion of Catholicism, because one of the rules of Catholicism is you cannot steal and you cannot kill, which resonated not just Catholicism or Buddhism. It really resonated to the Quran as well. It's like we're preaching different things, but they're preaching the same thing. But the only separates us is how we worship or how we understand interpretations of the religion. I think you're right, but I also basically on my information about friends. Like I don't have, well, I have many friends that are atheists, that are Muslim, and that are Buddhism or Buddhist, and that are Catholic or Baptist and Episcopalian. I think, hmm, I think the most important thing is to just it's just being truthful to yourself. I mean, you could follow religion or you could just follow your interpretation, so it's just basically just about yourself. I mean, for most of people, they want meaning in their lives, so that's why some of them want to go into religion, and some of them just want to, like, they want to find their own meaning. That's why there's some of them break out of the religion. So the only thing I have to tell you is just be truthful to yourself. Oh, you mean nature and nurture, right? Oh, well, I think the reason why I find true meaning in life is, I mean, you don't have to just be bound by your religion. I mean, life is beautiful. I mean, going around exploring your likes and dislikes and going off and just going to different countries or different places around the planet is could get your life meaning. I mean, the more you know, the better you grow. So it's not really, I'm sorry.
Growth as an individual, finding meaning besides religion, and so those are reasons that are actually, well, we could say that utterly meaningless. For example, travel, when reduced to what it really is just that you having experiences with different sorts of environments, right? And that in itself is just meaningless. And so I guess that you would find meaning in travel due to you having a euphoric experience when exploring the world, right? That's it. That you find happiness when find happiness. But then, for example, whatever happiness you experience in travel or finding meaning or growth as a person, you can get that by chemicals to be induced in your brain with, for example, dopamine or drugs. And so that makes travel just as meaningless as taking drugs, right? And so and exactly. So how would you find meaning in your life knowing that whatever makes you happy is are simply chemicals in your brain?
Oh, I understand. Hmm. I think you can find meaning in your life is just stay. I mean, there's good meaning, there's negative meaning, and there's good meaning. Negative meaning, as in just going with drugs or alcohol or just trying to suppress your brain, or you could just go around and travel or meet new friends and meet new people or read
Mm-hmm.
different things and learn. So basically how I feel is stay away from drugs. I mean, only if your doctor doesn't prescribe them to you. Like, there's a lot of drugs like there's a lot of drugs like euphoria, weed, marijuana, yada yada yada. But it's good to not just go into drugs. There's also meditation. There's also traveling. There's also meeting new people. There's also learning something new that actually that actually sparks your curiosity. Is to find meaning in a meaningless life is just to not
Mm-hmm.
just think about it, just do it in a positive way, not in a negative way. Pursuit of happiness to me is not just making me happy, just to make everyone else happy. Like, I understand that I'm not in a religion doesn't mean that I'm not happy, or pursuing into religious affairs doesn't make me happy. Like, I could pray on it, or I could just volunteer at my local homeless shelter to spread the meaning of happiness. But the pursuit of happiness to me is to go search out thing that put a little bit meaning or confidence in my life.
So then, for example, amidst a world where politics is a real issue, right?
Right.
Um, and with the pursuit of happiness in the hearts of every individual, how do you think an individual should act politically? Should he participate continuously, or just ignore everything else and just find better ways to be happy?
It just depends on the person. Does he like politics? If so, then
Mm-hmm.
he should be in a politic party. If not, he should just stay away from it and pursue something that put a little bit more meaning in his life because politics, like everywhere, is a dirty game. I mean, there's different parties for different politics. There's the left wing, right wing, there's Democrats, Republicans, yada yada yada. It's just that it's a dirty game. Sometimes media actually say things that are more positive, negative in that person's favor, but it's good just to stay away from politics, in my opinion.
Okay, so then, for example, I've been talking to a lot of people on this podcast about the Black Lives Matter movement, and most of them are white. Yeah, so yeah, and I'm hearing some pros, some cons. How about you? What do you think about the Black Lives Matter?
Well, I think my opinion on Black Lives Matter, the pros is I'm happy that they're standing up on African American rights, but the con is that everyone is suffering. I mean, we're not the only race that is suffering from domestic and racial abuse. I mean, instead of just
Mm-hmm.
saying my life matters, I could just say your life matters, that woman across the street life matters, that woman,
Mm-hmm.
that guy that's working at my job that's always get screamed and cursed out matters. I mean, it's not just my life matter, everyone life matters. I like the BLK and BLM movement so far, but I just think that we should stop just thinking about race. We could just think about equality.
That's a real good answer because, yeah, you're right that instead of just focusing on race, because the more you talk about something and you're gonna find problems. So, I'm guessing that, but a lot of their answers are, for example, that there is still racism in America and it
There
needs to be
is.
solved. Yeah, and even in the 21st century, that's a problem that still has to be given a solution. And I think that they say that the Black Lives Matter movement is a movement that raises awareness so that something like this or that wouldn't happen in the future. What do you think? It's just a prevention uh, action or
I think it's a
something.
provincial action because it's like a protest. Like you can scream and holler and be angry, but you can't fight hate with hate. For me, I think you
Mm-hmm.
should do it in a more peaceful protesting to show people that we want change, but in a peaceful manner. Because the important person you think of on top of your head, which is a great African American leader, is Martin Luther King. Why? Because he did it
Yeah.
in a peaceful protest, not like Malcolm X or
Mm-hmm.
the other African American famous abolitionists. Yeah, I think that for real, the Black Lives Matter movement is good, but I think they should just do a peaceful protesting because they're really not rubbing off on just them. They're rubbing off us. I mean, us African Americans as well. I mean, if you walk up and you like Black Lives Matter, just screaming, hollering, and just doing
Mm-hmm.
a violent protesting, what is that going to put in your mind that all African Americans are wild, wild individuals instead of just doing a peaceful manner? I just think that
Mm-hmm.
all this violence. I understand you want change, but you're not doing it in the right way.
Yeah, but then a lot of them say that we've been peaceful, we've been civil, we've been peaceful, and it didn't work. That's what they're saying. And so you've pushed us into a corner where we have no choice but to be violent and do what we have to do in order to attain the solution. And that's what they're that's what a lot of them are saying. What do
I
you
think
think?
that I understand they push into a corner, but it's your choice of being violent or not. I mean, you want to fight violence with violence? I mean, that's a war, and in war, there's no winners. There's only losers.
Yeah, I
And
guess
if you
then.
want to,
Um, yeah, just
I'm sorry.
what did you? Yeah, okay. So then, for example, they said that Malcolm X, who said it himself, that he came into the position of where what he stood for in order that Martin Luther King would find it easier to to do his job, because where there when given an alternative of violence,
Hmm.
uh, Americans would better choose or better act on civil liberties. So I watched this movie, like it's called I think the Great Debates,
Oh yeah,
where
for
um yeah the
nice.
conclusion to the answer is that would you choose to be violent or to protest civil to civilly civilize to have civil protests, right?
Hmm.
So their conclusion. And so um so I think the BLM are saying that we've been protesting peacefully, but you didn't act on that, and so this is the alternative, and you chose this. That's what they're
I
saying.
think that I think they should actually go. I think the people should actually learn more about their Black history, just basic on
Mm-hmm.
interpretations. Like I understand Malcolm X, and I understand he was actually he was actually very violent and took things not very violent. He wanted more change, so using a violent method. But there's also Martin Luther King, Frederick Douglass, what's the other guy? Huey Freeman, which was the leader of the Black Panthers movement, and
Mm-hmm.
they really didn't want to they didn't want to spread violence to for change. They actually wanted to make more of an impact to the community so it could change. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Mm-hmm.
Andy, do you admire the person who do you admire the person who has a gun, or do you admire the person who actually took a brick in the face?
So
Because
I guess then that for a lot of them, it's just I think that it's just the with all the pandemic and the political issues with Trump and all everything that happened in America. Everyone just full of it, and it was just easy to just get make tantrums as in protesting, just uh, and I know that not all of them caused the looting and the arson, but um, that's something that I don't agree on, and it makes you look bad to the world. That's it.
yes, it
That
does.
no matter what you do, people will associate the Black Lives Movement with violence and riots. It's just inseparable now, and
Exactly.
it's sending a really bad message. That yeah. So yeah, and in terms of of the message that I was taught in elementary, for example, that civil protests like Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr. Those were people that inspired me that change can happen without war or people dying. And the direction that's happening right now, where people are deciding to choose violence instead of just peaceful protesting because they were simply pushed into a corner, that destroys the spirit of what these people fought for. You know that being in the right means
Exactly.
that you can shame someone who is beating you, who is treating you like a subhuman, because you show them that you have dignity and you won't condescend to their position. That's what it is. You're showing people that you're proud of who you are, and that whatever they bad or violence they do to you, you're not gonna condescend. That, I think that's the main message. Yeah.
Exactly. That's a very good. Yeah, it's gonna be any prouder than myself. Nice. Filipino brother.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, what do you think? What do you think?
I think it's top notch. Yes, you're actually
Mm-hmm.
very right because I think anyone could do violence. It take a person to be peaceful. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I actually encourage people to do a peaceful way instead of doing the violent way. And also what I don't understand about the Black Lives Matter movement is I understand you want change, but you can't change the past. Like they're going around and changing names like the Redskins and
Mm-hmm.
Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben's,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going around and putting down statues and I'm all like it's not they're all like yeah change but you can't change history. It's set in stone
Yep.
and you're
Mm-hmm.
doing it the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my belief is instead of just changing all this and rewriting history in the present, but not in the past, is just to go around and teach people that racism back then isn't allowed today.
I guess that a lot of reasons as well is really actually more about economics, because, for example, the Black Lives Matter movement essentially wishes to affect social policies, and one of the things that they want to happen is, um, well, in a leftist sense, that social more free education, free healthcare, and in America, a lot of people are very individualists, and they don't seem to be be okay with paying for someone else's education or someone else's healthcare or insurance. That's what, and that's what they're trying to make, that um, whatever decision you're gonna do, it's gonna affect me. And so they're trying to say that America is one rowboat, and if I drown, you drown as well. So that's why they riot. They drag small businesses into it. They loot because they say it's like showing that I'm angry with what's happening, and if you don't do something about it, everything's gonna burn, and I'm just gonna be violent whatsoever and whatever. I think that's the one of the biggest messages, and it makes me
Hmm.
sad that it might actually be there might be actually someone with real power controlling it, the movement behind it, and that's the sad
Believe it or
thing.
not, actually, you're very correct because the Black Lives Matter doesn't have a leader. I mean, if it has a
Mm-hmm.
leader, it'll be more organized. I mean, I think that's why they go around and get be angry, looting, and doing domestic violence. You're right. I think you're right because the Black Lives Matter movement is just a group of people. It's not a group of people with a leader. I think if we have a
Mm-hmm.
stronger leader like a Martin Luther King or Frederick Douglass or a Malcolm X, I think it'll be much more organized and much more in a good domestic manner.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe that that there is a hidden party that's controlling the Black Lives movement because my friend actually gave a good point about this because I mean for real, we're not all that violent. We're not all that quick tempered because I I mean, I see it on the news. My friends see it on the news, but it's not what we as African Americans stand for. We already know this. The real
Yeah,
message that they want to say is we're tired of being discriminated. We're tired of being let down. We're tired of being just second, no, third citizens. That's what they're saying. But what I don't understand is we're not the only people that are actually feeling racist discrimination. What about the Latinos, the Native Americans, the
mm-hmm,
Muslims, the other people,
mm-hmm,
especially
mm-hmm.
the Native Americans? I mean, those people are more stronger, or my interpretation, those people are more stronger than African Americans because they've been enslaved, put off their land, have to live into a res or a community that's to themselves. They've been actually stripped of every single thing that was left to them by their ancestors, and they have to go around and try to find another place of home.
Yeah, well, actually, this is my opinion, but I don't have studies to back this up. But this is what I think. You know that in terms of racism, for example, if a black man or a white man were to come in my country, you're gonna be treated differently. That's what I'm saying. That this is a country full of Filipinos, and if you're a foreigner, they're gonna be racist about it, and they're gonna treat you differently. That's a fact, man. And that and in I mean and I can't you can't argue with that. It's just you have different languages, culture, and for example, even in if you China, Japan, or other countries like even in Africa or in Asia, you're gonna be treated differently because people aren't used to seeing someone who is different, right? And I think that goes back a long way towards I people being tribal because, for example, we evolved as human beings who who is more comfortable with people who look familiar or who look similar to us. And what's happening in America is something unprecedented. It's not something that has happened in history ever before. When it comes to that, being the melting pot of civilization, where people are from different cultures are living together, and it's supposed to be equally, and and I think that it's really come down to our human nature itself, because I think the human brain, well, evolved in a way where where they are more comfortable with seeing people that look like them, and that's something that we as a human society have to overcome. The mankind has to say that my tribe is the world, and I have to be comfortable with this, and being for I think that America being mostly white people and being living in pure mostly white communities, I think they're still struggling like the rest of the world, but that America has been put in a pedestal where freedom and egalitarianism has been their main message as a country. Well, it's there. I think that they have a lot of pressure when it comes to that kind of stuff, and that's just what I think. Do you think I'm right or wrong? It's okay. It's my opinion,
I
though.
think you're right. That's a good honest
Mhm.
opinion, and I really congratulate you on
Mhm.
that because not much people actually think the way you do. I mean, I think change is in our gene, but it's our choice to shun that person or learn about that person. I mean,
Mhm.
like an all white community. I mean, it's your interpretation of show that African American, Latino, Native American
Mhm.
violence because you're not used to seeing him, or you could take
Mhm.
him in and learn more about his culture because what
Exactly.
was mhm, what was what was what was the I'm sorry, I'm trying to think. What was the main reason why settlers traveled? or Columbus traveled. The reason why he traveled is to learn a to learn something to learn a not I'm sorry to learn a different culture or learn about a different race. That's why people travel. That's why the Vikings travel. That's why the sales captains travel, just to
Mm-hmm.
learn about different cultures. And
Mm-hmm.
what made me kind of upset is that people when people don't understand something, that's when they feel fear. When they feel fear, that's when they have tension, like the flight or fight message. You know,
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about travel, and besides all this politics and philosophy, why do you think it's important for a person to travel and just
I
explore?
think the main reason for people to travel is to break out of their comfort zone. I think that's what
Mm-hmm.
actually separates people right now is they're used to being in their bubble, but they don't break out of that bubble. They're used to being in their comfort. They're not used to being out of that comfort zone. You know, experience new things, meet new people, eat different foods. I think the more people travel, the better they'll understand a person's culture.
Yeah, so it's like saying that I could say that a well-traveled population is a well-educated population, you know? Yeah.
Exactly.
And and I guess that, for example, if everybody in the world were exposed to different cultures and understanding of how people think differently, they would be less inclined to be racist or be judgmental because they would understand where these people are coming from and why they do what they do, right?
Exactly. I mean, people always jump to the conclusion that that person is different. That person's violent. I don't understand that person. But instead of just, hey, what's your name? Where did you
Mm-hmm.
come from?
Mm-hmm.
So what race are you? Oh, that's very interesting. Can you tell me more about your race? Oh, that's very interesting. We should talk more.
Yeah, that is really I think that humanity has a long way to go, but I think every little thing that everybody does matters, and it just brings us closer to a better world, you know. and and I guess that, for example, if you're someone who doesn't believe in religion or God or whatsoever, I guess the only greater purpose that is is fitting for someone, or that could be a uh, good goal for someone, is to just wish for a utopia, you know, that
Exactly.
that's unrealistic, but um, hoping that the world would be a better place with less pain and less suffering. That's something that I think everybody wants, you know, even Christians and even people from different religions, you know. That's something we can
Exactly. We
agree
sure
on.
can agree on that because I mean, we could do anything. I mean, we went to the moon, we're exploring
Mm-hmm.
Mars, we store the most deepest
Mm-hmm.
depth in the ocean. Why not have a good place for balance, equality, a utopia, or safe haven?
Yeah. Yeah. And so, but I guess that the sad thing is the most recent attempts at a utopia have failed greatly. But I think we're getting there, you know. And the more that we strive to become better people, I think we're one step closer to that. So one last question, bro, because
Sure,
it's
bro.
been a good conversation. Um, as an individual, what do you think is the best way a person could make a good difference in the
I think
world?
a better way of a person can make a good difference in the world is to leave their judgmental morals at home. Just explore, accept people for who they are instead of accepting the stereotype or interpretation you heard in the media or from other people. I mean, the only person that could spread change is you. I mean, you could do all types of stuff, but the most important thought of is just accept someone who for who they are. Don't look at their skin color. Don't don't get into gossip about that person, or don't just judge them for what you learn from the media. Just accept that person for who they are, and to help.
Yeah. So you said it, man, and thank you so much for being on my show.
Thank
And
you
I
for
hope
having me.
I
It's been real.
Yeah, and your opinions on the Black Lives Matter movement has actually been very surprising, and I hope that I could actually get you to debate with someone or discuss with someone who has opposite views with you.
Sure,
You
no
know?
problem. I love that.
So that's the end of it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This is your host, Elmo Ador Jr. And thank you for listening in. And please subscribe. Please follow us on Facebook. Please follow this. Please. Thanks.
It takes a lot of ingredients to fix or build a car, like cooking, but without the frozen dinner easy way out. eBay Motors has 122 million parts. It's always the right fitment, so you can follow any recipe to a T. Whether it's a vintage Italian coupe that's classic like grandma's meatballs, or a German luxury car that's as complicated as Oma's rouladen, to cook up something great in the garage, use the eBay Motors app or visit ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Holidays are here, and so is fashionable fitness. Gift yourself a Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3 5G, a phone that folds in half to literally stand on its own. Pair it with the Galaxy Watch 4 for ultimate wellness and wow factor. Check health stats, flex personal records. Over 90 activities can be tracked, like biking, swimming, golfing, and more. Invest in yourself with tech made to crush goals. Holidays open up with Galaxy. Shop it all at Samsung.com. 5G connection and availability may vary. Check with carrier. Products sold separately.